My good friend Jake came up for the weekend, and he talked me into going to see the new Charlie Brown movie. Sure, Jake, let's go to a popular children's movie during a Saturday afternoon. And outside of one random kid crying, which was during the climax, which is safe to say I'm glad he did, because honestly I had a little bit of sniffles myself. I'm a sucker for emotional endings. That was one of the most well-behaved theaters full of kids ever. So the Peanuts movie, it has two major plot lines. Storyline A, Charlie Brown falls in love with a new girl in school and spends the entire school year trying to become a person worthy of her. And storyline B, Snoopy starts writing a story about the Red Baron and trying to win a fictional girlfriend. The movie is the most genuine Peanuts experience you could have asked for a CGI reboot. It's so earnest that the family of the late great Charles Schulz had a heavy hand in production, with the screenplay even written by Schultz's son and grandson. In a world where movies like Jem and the Hologram and Alvin and the Chipmunks exist, it's super refreshing to see a movie like Peanuts where it's more of the same and not some updated echo of its past self. With that being said, the movie's not breaking new ground, but instead it's probably everything you expect and possibly everything you want from a Peanuts movie. Charlie Brown is the perfect underdog, and I found myself admiring him the entire time. He does these little things to win your heart throughout the film. It's great. The last scene has a monologue that's so heartwarmingly good that, as I said, I got a little teary-eyed for Charlie Brown. Snoopy's B-plot is super cute, but super frustrating from a story standpoint. The whole Snoopy's subplot is mostly entirely in Snoopy's mind, so it's super frustrating when Charlie Brown's at his emotional high point and we just switch to this low-stake imagination story. And, we really want to be with Charlie Brown at this point because it's, his biggest moment in the story, and Snoopy just jumps in front of this frame and steals the show. I can't help but feel this might be a giant tongue-in-cheek reference to the fact that Snoopy slowly took over the comic strip, but I may be looking too hard into that. Visually, the movie is very unique, being a 3D animated film emulating the 2D hand-drawn specials. A lot of the facial features are designed to look like hand-drawn inkings, and the character and camera work is very limited to match the original specials. This feels closer to a CGI stop-motion film with models edited to fit what would work with the different camera angles, and it works. It works so well. At first, I questioned why even make it 3D, but then I realized it's basically another way of having moving paintings. This feels more like drawings that could only be done in 3D. This film and the now canceled Popeye test footage has got me really super excited to see what CGI can bring to 2D designed films in the future. The physical medium of 2D hand-drawn animations might be dead in the cinema, but the spirit is alive and well with movies like this. The only hang-up I have is that most of the movie works in this 2D mentality, but the Snoopy story is animated at a much higher frame rate, more 3D mapped backgrounds and camera movements. It's very jarring because it's more of an action film, but the rest of it is set up like a comedy. This is probably something that would only bother other people that study film, but most moviegoers and children will be happy with it regardless. I'm just a grump. Also, this is just me, but I was really shocked to see that the entire cast is just a bunch of unknown children's actors, with the biggest actress being the little redhead girl's voice actor, who's some Disney Channel star. Also, I like to note that Petterment Patty's voice actress is Venus Omega, which is one hell of a name. And Snoopy and Woodstock's voices are actually just archived recordings. Visually, this movie's breaking new ground with its experimentation, and I love it. Though from a story standpoint, it's just taking the same steps as the specials did before it. While the story might be the same thing and it's just Charlie Brown falling in love, the lesson that the movie's trying to teach is a really great lesson that's worth knowing. Charlie Brown might fuck up occasionally, but he's a good person and people gravitate to good people. He has great parts of his personality, he's just not looking in the right spots. It's a great message for any kid to look at, and as someone who has low self-esteem, this is something I needed. And if you have a hard time finding the great things about yourself, this movie might be a good start. Seriously, go see the movie either in theaters or when it hits Redbox if you remotely like Charlie Brown or if you just like animation. It's a really good one. It's got some flaws, but it's so earnest and genuine. It's mind-blowing that it exists in this day and age.